Evening, folks, and welcome to another episode of Mostly Arsenal. This will be the last video I do for about a week, so I'm off to Devon with the family at the weekend for a well-deserved break. I've overslept for work the last 2 mornings, so I think it's time I had a holiday. When I come back, some of the things I'm thinking of doing, I want to start doing a few more live streams with guests and things like that. But I need this whole thing to look a lot more professional than just some bloke sat in his conservatory with a box there and some palm trees behind him. So once I get it looking a lot more professional and like a proper channel, then I'll be doing some live stuff. But moving on swiftly from that, there's a few bits I want to talk about tonight. Like I said, this will be the last one I do for a week or so. So I thought I might ruffle a few feathers and have a bit of a chuckle at other people's expense tonight. Before that, though, I'd just like to say, if you like what you see, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you can catch all the future videos that I'm going to do. I'm quite enjoying doing the content. I don't see myself as a content creator, but I enjoy doing it. Anyone that's seen the earlier videos, I may have said that I'm married with 4 daughters and the wife, and none of the kids are into football in the slightest. So whenever I talk about football, I just get the eye roll and heavy breathing, and they try to look interested, probably as interested as I do when they talk to me about watching like the Kardashians and other stuff and home improvement programs. So it's nice to do this and interact with people who are like-minded and enjoy talking about the same sort of stuff that I do. Starting off, I was, as always, watching Cannon Chatter last night. Anyone that knows me knows I'm a massive fanboy for that channel. And the first time I did a live stream, it was actually Stephen from Cannon Chatter that popped my cherry. Must be the accent, I suppose. I'm a sucker for that Irish accent. But they were, as always, like the chat on there is always really good and really insightful, and it provokes thought. And one of the things that got mentioned last night was how actually I should mention, I'm going to call this video, it's called Rent Free, because one of the things that was spoke about was how Arsenal and Arsenal fans in particular seem to live rent free in the heads of a lot of fans of other football clubs. And as I was at work today, I spent a lot of time thinking, why is that? What makes it such a thing that people are so obsessed with what Arsenal Football Club are doing? So I've been thinking about that all day, and I wanted to firstly give Cannon Chatter credit for bringing this topic up, and I just wanted to share my thoughts on why I think we do live rent free in the heads of so many supporters of so many other football clubs. The main ones that spring to mind, obviously, you got the other lot down the road: Chelsea, Aston Villa, Man United. Now, Chelsea and the dark side, you know, it is what it is. There's the geographical issue. There's you know, logistically we're close to them, being all London clubs. There's not really a lot I can say about the other lot. You know, it is what it is, and you know, it's always going to be that way. Chelsea, there's a lot of new fans when the money came in. You know, there's a lot of older fans, to be fair. You know, I don't want to slope them too much. You know, those of them that were down the bridge when someone like Kerry Dixon was popping the goals in for that one good season that he had, can't really fault them for that. You know, they're old school. So there's not really a huge amount I want to say about them. The two I really want to focus on is Man United and Aston Villa. I'll start with Aston Villa because this is a really odd one for me. Steve on Cannon Chatter last night made a really good point. It's like, if you're trying to build a rivalry or look at another side who you want to be rivals with, you've got to look above you. And Aston Villa are doing that. They were a few places behind us, I think about 5 or 6 points behind us. But they really, really pissed me off this summer, and I'll come to the reasons why. Those of you who know me well will know exactly why. But I'm looking at the reasons for it, and they've got. I mean, someone like Jack Grealish, player that is just a phenomenal player. He's got really good hair as well, to be fair. Um, but aside from Jack Grealish, I honestly think the reason they're trying to build this this mentality of rivalry against us, um, I think in recent history it stems purely from Emi Martinez. Now, I said when we sold him on, I thought we got rid of the wrong keeper. I really rated him and I loved him, and he was really loyal to Arsenal. But it seems a little bit now when you look at some of the tweets he comes out with, some of the comments he makes, it's almost like he looks at Arsenal as a relationship where we kind of dumped him, and he's looking back at us like we're an ex-partner who he's still kind of in love with, and he still feels quite resentful towards that we got rid of him. And then you look at Aston Villa, it's almost like they're his rebound, but they're looking at us thinking, if we hadn't dumped him, we wouldn't have a chance with this bloke, and that's getting under their skin as well. Now, I know there was Emi Buendia, they got him, decent player, and they were giving it the big un, they got Emi Martinez, then they got Emi Buendia, they were after us, they were going to be a bigger club than us. Listen, I don't even know if we were in for Buendia. All the in the nose was saying that we were, but that's meaningless. Who knows? We might have inquired, we might not have done. There might be some truth in the rumour that the structure of the payments that Villa offered was better than the structure of the payments Arsenal offered. I don't know. He's a decent player, and they got him, and that's fair enough. What I really, really take issue with is them going after Emile Smith Rowe. Firstly, it was the second bid that was 35 million for somebody who was a 20-year-old before today. By the way, mate, happy birthday. He was 20 at the time. To my way of thinking, he made the biggest difference to our season than any other player last year. The kid's golden. I've said this millions and millions of times. But you couldn't... 35 million, really? You couldn't even... 90 million wouldn't do it. He's so good. And the fact that their second bid was 35 million is absolutely derisory. And he made it quite clear. It's like, there's not even no way. Absolutely no way. And the fact they kept going after him and they were bantering and they were chirping away, I just think it's absolutely, it's even worse than when we offered whatever was it, 80 million and £1 for Suarez all those years ago. That was pretty shocking that we did that, but that was seen as cheeky. This with Emile Smith Rowe, like, just fucking no, don't even. So basically, Villa, you're a rebound club, and you are. So just fucking jog on and find someone else to be rivals with. Moving on, Man United. I don't really know where to begin with this. United or United fans seem really, really obsessed with Arsenal and what we're doing, whether it be our results, who we're playing, how we're playing, the transfer market. Our club's bigger than yours. Yeah, let's face it, United are a massive club worldwide, like global franchise. We all know that they're a massive, massive club and a massive corporate entity. They've got fans all over the world, but so have we. And the thing that I find amazing, when you look at finances and fan base, they probably are a bigger club than us. And let's face it, they've had a huge amount of success. Last 20, 30 years, massive amount of success that not many clubs can compete with. And you've got to give them credit for that. You look at trophies, they've won more than we have. But shouldn't it be us that's obsessed with them? You're always looking up for your next rival. It should be us that's obsessed with them. But there's just this constant comparisons. And I mean, the, the day I chose Arsenal was Cup Final Day '79. I was 6, and I don't know what it was that I made me choose Arsenal, but I did, and there was just like an instinct to it, and I'm pleased it did. And in my years as an Arsenal fan, what is it, 40, 42 years? Um, there's been lots of times where the rivalry has been really, really prevalent. Um, and the first thing I can remember was probably '87 when Rocky got sent off for retaliating against Whiteside. Then there was that massive brawl in 1990 when both clubs got docked points. Um, it's the list is endless. But I think there are two reasons why Man United fans in particular are so obsessed with us, and those reasons are fear and resentment. Now, I'm going to talk about the resentment first because, like I said, there was a few bits in the late 80s, early 90s, and then 1996, this slightly professorial-looking French bloke turned up when we'd sacked Rioch right on the eve of the new season. And everyone was like, oh, this is a disaster. Arsenal, they're a club in freefall, they're going to go down. And then Arsene Wenger rocks up, and nobody outside of probably fucking David Dean, Gary Lineker, and Nagoya Grampus 8, a few people at Monaco, had heard of him. I remember him when he was manager at Monaco because I remember watching Thierry Henry absolutely brutalise Newcastle in the Champions League when he was about 18 as a wing back. And I took a bit of interest then. But other than that, I didn't really know a lot about the bloke. He didn't look like he'd fight his way out of a wet paper bag, to be honest. And then all of a sudden he's going up against Fergie, who we all know was the king of the mind games. Look what he did to Kevin Keegan that year. And to look at the two of them, tough Glaswegian and a guy who looks like he teaches history in a French university, you wouldn't think there'd be any competition there, but there was, and I don't think they were quite ready for that. I remember, I think it was Wenger's first season. There were the two games we played against Man United. There was real beef between Wrighty and Peter Schmeichel, and there were allegations of racially motivated comments. I mean, the 2-foot Wrighty putting on Schmeichel was really bad. But there were reasons for it, and that was the first time I remember Fergie and Arsene Wenger squaring up. And I remember thinking then that Fergie might have met his match here, and I think that didn't go down too well. And Man United, they were in the ascendant. They played the best football in the country, if not Europe, at the time. And all of a sudden, they had a real fight on their hands. And then going forward a few years, there was Van Nistelrooy shitting it from Keown when he ran off down the tunnel after Keown done his Count Dracula thing. By the way, rude. Cheers for hitting the crossbar on that one because that helped us win that gold trophy. So cheers, mate. Then there was the one when Gary Neville shit it off Vieira in the tunnel. Then had to get Roy Keane involved. The thing that really sticks out for me is the FA Cup 5th round game in 2003 at Old Trafford. Remember the one when Beck's come out with the plaster above his eye because Fergie had launched a boot at him after the game. We won 2-0, and the big thing in that game for me was all United had was to try to kick us off the park when we played them off it. And that must have really hurt, especially United were a fantastic side, don't get me wrong. And like I said, they played the best football, counter-attacking was brilliant. But all of a sudden, the tide had turned and there was a better football inside. And that was us. And I think that rocked an awful lot of people within Man United. That rocked an awful lot of Man United fans. They weren't quite ready for that. United, I think they won 4 of the first 5 Premier League titles. They were absolute mustard. But then it started bringing about all these comparisons, and they're even more in the forefront now. You look at, I mean, for the last season, there's been this comparison, Saka and Greenwood. It's like, fucking seriously. United haven't got a single player who's better than Saka. Not Rashford, not Sancho. I don't really want to put those three into a bracket after everything that happened in the Euros. But United haven't got a better player than Saka. And to put fucking Mason Greenwood in there, Mason Greenwood's a very talented young player, but he's not on Saka's level. It's like, come on, be real. And then they're starting to bring in the comparisons between the apparent transfer fees for Rafael Varane and Ben White. It's like, whether these figures are true, yeah, we might be paying 50 million for Ben White. Ben White's a 23-year-old England international. Rafael Varane, a few years older. All right, he's won the World Cup with France. He's been playing for Real Madrid for donkey's years. But you ask yourself, why are they getting rid of him? Is it that they want money, or is there something else to it? And then you look at the predicted wage packets. We're probably getting a better deal. But why always make these comparisons? Why are Man United fans so fucking obsessed with who we're buying? And that's what really got me thinking when they all started banging on about the amount we're paying for Ben White. And for the longest time, Arsenal haven't spent money. We all know it. And even though we've got this business model, which is effective and it remains within FFP, you know, we all want the club to start spending the money that is required to strengthen this club, this team, this squad. And I think after the failed European Super League and the demonstrations, the owners have got to be so aware that they need to get us back on side. And also I was having a chat with G off Cannon Chatter about this a couple of weeks ago, and obviously the jury is still out on Mikel Arteta. I'm not in or out. If anything, I'm probably more slightly in because I want the guy to succeed. I don't see any benefit to getting another manager in, and I've said this on countless occasions. But for us to truly know whether he's the right bloke for the job, they've got to back him 100% in this transfer market. And they've got to give him the funds that he requires to put his stamp on this team. They've also got to get rid of a lot of deadwood, which is a bit slow at the moment, but it was always going to be. But we're in a position now where it's looking like we're starting to spend money. We've bought in Tavares and Lokonga, both of whom have looked really good, albeit in pre-season, but very impressed with them. We bring in Ben White, a couple of others, and all of a sudden, Arsenal have spent well, and we're building a good squad in the vision of what Arteta wants and how he wants to play. Because let's face it, he hasn't had that. He probably made mistakes early on by, instead of playing to the strengths of the players he had available at his disposal, he kind of went down the road of trying to stick to the game plan that he wanted. And this was something that Stephen off Cannon Chatter alluded to last night, and that's a really, really valid point. He was probably naive in that respect, but let's not forget, this is his first job as a manager. And if you were to make a comparison, as Man United fans like to, let's compare the two managers. All right, Solskjaer, he's likeable enough, and I think he's done a fairly decent job. But he's already managed at Mulder. He's already managed at Cardiff. Done all right at Mulder. Didn't do especially well at Cardiff, but he wasn't really likely to. And this is now his third job, I believe. So he's got a bit more experience, but he's making mistakes. And Arteta's made lots of mistakes. But Arteta seems to have the sign over him. And bearing in mind, Man United finished 6 places above us, 13 points above us. Their goal difference was 13 better than ours last season. Yet all their fans are still obsessing over what we're doing. Now, I've spoken about the resentment. This is now fear, because it's been a long time since we've been in a position. We bought Aubameyang, was probably the last major signing. Ozil, Arshavin. But the last real, absolutely world-class signing that we made was probably Thierry Henry. And everyone laughed then. we are now in a situation where we potentially could be building a really, really good young squad. We've re-signed, or with contract extensions, Tierney, Saka, Martinelli, Emil Smith Rowe. You know, these lads, everyone bangs on about United's class of '92. I'm not making that comparison because this is entirely different. But these are young lads we're showing faith in. Balogun's re-signed, and I know there were issues with everything that went on last season, and people were concerned about whether he was really in it to be in it. You know, he's still here. Nketiah is actually looking like he might stay, and from what I've seen from today's friendly, he could have future as a winger. Kid's quick, you never know. And then you add into the mix people like, you know, Aziz. He's looking like a bit of a monster, to be honest, at the moment. So our future's really, really bright. And although lots of other clubs' futures are bright, I think people are scared. And that is my God's honest opinion. You know, feel free to disagree if you want. I'm not here to row or anything, but I just wanted to give some of my humble opinions on why I think so many fans, so many other clubs are so fucking obsessed with what we're doing. And we'll see what happens next season, won't we? You know, I saw someone banging on about all we've had to celebrate the last 5 years of St Tottenham's Day. Well, yeah, 2 FA Cups as well. But you know, maybe your tweet about St Tottenham's Day won't have aged that well come May. Pardon me. You know, all the Man United fans banging on about how we're a little club. See how well that ages come May. I'm not saying we're going to do the business this season, but it's looking a lot brighter than it did this time 12 months ago. Let's just put it that way. I think that's about all I've got to say, really. Going back to my last video, there was that bit where I accidentally swore when I thought I'd hung up on a client. I was supposed to phone him back today, but I bottled it. So I will have to phone him either tomorrow or Friday, because obviously I'm off for a week. But like I said, off to Devon for a week. Really looking forward to having a break. So if I'm a bit quiet, that's why. But I'll be back with new and improved content when I return, wherever you may be. Hope you have a lovely morning, afternoon, evening, night, and I'll catch you next time. See you later.